You're not tired, you're distracted, and it's killing your momentum to move forward. In this video, you're going to get a biblical reality check on how comfort is costing your growth. Also, the truth about how staying safe keeps you spiritually stuck, and the push to trade your comfort zone for the calling that God has for you. Those dreams that you think of, those desires that are within your heart, God has put there for a purpose, and the time is now to go after everything that God has created you to be. Let's be real. A lot of times we know exactly what God is calling us to do, but we don't move forward because we're comfortable. And that calling can feel scary. That first step, especially if it's something we've never done before, can feel so scary and stir up so many emotions. So what do? We stay still instead. We stay still and we don't move because we're too comfortable, we're too scared to go out and explore everything that God has called us to do. Maybe you've already gotten a phone call to lead a prayer or to write a book or whatever it is. Maybe you've gotten a request to take that first step, but you haven't done it yet because you're too scared and you're stuck in comfort. Comfort is killing your calling, and it's also killing your growth. It's hard to take that first step, but it's necessary for you to accomplish all the great things that God has already destined for your life. God already sees you in it. He knows what He has put in you for the calling that He has placed on your life. And so, although comfort can feel safe, it's not going to get you to the calling that God has placed on your life. One of my biggest fears is public speaking. And one of the first things that God has called me to out of my comfort zone was public speaking. And I remember that negotiation with God. I remember telling God, well, if I do this, don't ask me to do this again. But I will tell you, the more that I said yes, the more that I walked out of my comfort and into obedience, the more confident I began to get. Not confident within myself, but confident that God was going to meet me there, that God was going to give me the words, that God was going to help me through it, that God was going to go before me. And so a lot of times we're trying to figure out that first step in our head, but God is just asking us to trust Him, to trust that He has it taken care of. He wants you to be obedient and just to go and just do it. So maybe some of you have already had the request for the prayer, the request to join the team, the request for the encouraging word. Maybe some of you guys have gotten the phone call or the email or the request to take that next step, but you're scared and you're comfortable. I want to encourage you to take that step because it's only by taking that step, even scared, in obedience, that your confidence will begin to build and the steps will get easier. You will find that you will move from a position from comfort to growth, to confidence, to boldness, and to excitement. That is what I have seen in my own life. So I encourage you to step out of comfort, to step into your calling, because God has great things planned for your life. You guys, this is Unfiltered Faith with me, Ezzy, where we trade comfort for calling, hype for healing, and filters for truth. I'm not here to say what's popular. I'm here to say what it takes for us to grow together. I know how it feels to be stuck in comfort. I know how it feels to be scared to take that first step, but to still want to be pleasing to God at the same time, to still want to go after all the dreams that I have seen, all the visions that I have seen. Maybe God has put a vision in your heart, and maybe it's been a few years and you haven't seen it because you've been too scared. You've been too comfortable. I have created this series, Unfiltered Faith. I created this series to help us move from comfort and to step into our calling for everything that God has planned and destined for our lives. Next Monday, we're going to go into taking that first step. I hope you subscribe and join me and follow along in this series. Getting back to the message, you guys, when I think about Moses and when God first approached him to start leading the Israelites out of Egypt, he could have never imagined all that he was going to do when he partnered with God. And so I want to encourage you that even these biblical figures, these huge biblical figures, struggled with getting out of their comfort zone, struggled with feeling that they weren't qualified or enough or ready or that they didn't have the skills. One of the things that Moses struggled with was that he said he didn't know how to speak, that he would stutter over his words, but God continuously reminded him that he was going to be with him. And we do see, as we read further along in the Old Testament, as we read further along in Moses' story, that he does in fact help the Israelites make it out of Egypt. So don't doubt that God has already put within you everything that is needed to take that first step to get out of your comfort zone and into your calling. If this is tugging at your heart, it's not for a guilt trip. It's for you to finally say yes and move into your calling. Don't worry about step 3 or 4. Just say yes, commit, and move forward, and trust that God has you throughout this entire process, just as he had Moses. All right, you guys, if this has blessed you, I encourage you to leave a comment below and tell me what you are going to do to move forward into what God has called you to do. And I invite you back next Monday as we will be talking about taking that first step. The truth isn't just for knowing, it's for transforming. Apply it, live it. I'll see you guys next week for encouragement on taking that first step.